Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Danelle, and today we are going to talk mostly about the two big dogs in the cryptocurrency market, Bitcoin and Ethereum. As usual, let's go ahead and look at the market landscape right now. Bitcoin, of course, is at number one, trading at approximately $28,400. It's up just over 1% over the past 7 days. It actually dipped down to around 27,000 earlier this week, but it's now back at that $28,000 level. So we'll continue to see how that holds up as we start to get some more macroeconomic news coming with the inflation numbers and another Fed meeting coming up in the next couple of months. So that could definitely cause some potential volatility in the cryptocurrency market. But as of right now, Bitcoin is still holding steady at around that 28,000 range. Ethereum also ranging at that $1,800 mark. It's currently trading at $1,863, and it is up over 3%, almost 4% over the last 7 days. And then going into the top 10, we have XRP still holding strong at around 50 cents. Cardano at 39 cents at number 7. And Dogecoin has gone up and down over the past week or so when the Twitter mascot was exchanged for the Dogecoin mascot for a period of time. So a lot of people are speculating that Dogecoin will be a currency that can be used on the Twitter platform. Time will tell, but it is up 5.67% over the last 7 days. Polygon at number 9 and Solana rounding out the top 10, trading at approximately $20. So today we're going to just talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum, two of the biggest cryptocurrencies in the world and the most important cryptocurrencies right now in the world, and the ones that institutional investors, when we think about larger companies, when we think about the so-called whales, people who have millions and billions of dollars to spend, the companies like MicroStrategy, for example, that are buying into Bitcoin. Ethereum, also another another cryptocurrency that a lot of companies are also looking into. So it's always good to have an understanding of what's going on with Bitcoin and Ethereum. So Ethereum, coming up into this next week, will be moving forward with their upgrade. And so their first major upgrade that happened in September of 2022 was the merge, when they went from proof of work to proof of stake. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. But now the Shanghai upgrade will allow those whose Ethereum was staked, so basically it had to be held for a period of time, now will allow those people who had their Ethereum staked can now have access to that Ethereum because it was locked during this upgrade, so that the Ethereum coders and engineers could continue to work on Ethereum and allow it to complete the merge, going from proof of work to proof of stake. So as you can see here, there may be some short-term negative impact on the price, because I believe it's going to be approximately, people are speculating about $18 million dollars worth of Ethereum is going to be now available and liquid. And so some people who have been holding on to that Ethereum, or whose Ethereum, I should say, has been locked for that period of time, may be looking to now trade it, especially now that Ethereum is at this 1800 price range. Some people may be looking to sell off some of their Ethereum. So we may see a potential dip in Ethereum during this time in this upcoming week. So we'll definitely keep an eye out on that. But now that you are going to be able to stake Ethereum and get in and out of staking Ethereum whenever you want, now it's not going to be locked up. Now that's going to create a possibility for more institutions to get involved and buy Ethereum, because now they don't have to worry about having their Ethereum locked up. They can get in and out of it whenever they want. So as they say here, the unstaked Ether will now de-risk the Ethereum investment in a tremendous way. And so in the long run, you can see institutional investors who couldn't get involved earlier in staking will feel more comfortable once ETH can now be unstaked. So more capital most likely will be entering into Ethereum and improve the Ethereum network in the long run. So the more people who are staking, the more companies, the more institutions that are buying into Ethereum and staking Ethereum, it's going to continue to make Ethereum stronger. So if we go here to ethereum.org, and as you can see here, this is a website that you can go to learn as much as you want about Ethereum, especially if you're interested in building on top of Ethereum with the smart contract platform. You can do NFTs, decentralized finance. There's a lot of different ways that Ethereum can be utilized, but this is a place that you can learn a little bit more about the merge and what's happening with the Beacon chain, which is the chain that Ethereum now runs on, since it went now from the proof of work to proof of stake. So as you can see here, it was executed on September 15th, 2022, and that reduced its energy consumption by 99.95%. So the merge here, you can learn a little bit more about it. It talks about how it went from proof of stake, which is very energy intensive, and now, went from proof of work, which is very energy intensive, to now proof of stake. And now this next Shanghai upgrade is just another step in securing this beacon chain and the Ethereum network as a whole. So the next story we're going to go into and finish off with is with regards to the number one cryptocurrency in the world, and that's Bitcoin. And some very interesting news came out this past week is that Apple has the Bitcoin white paper hidden in their operating system. So if you have a 2018, I believe, Apple computer on forward, I believe the operating system, it had to be Mojave or anything after that operating system, because they've now had upgrades since then, you would be able to find the Bitcoin white paper. And we were able actually to find it because I run on a uh, Apple computer, and I was able to find it here. And we'll go through this in a second. But it's very interesting how you were able to access it, but it was hidden. And if you didn't know, now you know. So as you can see here, the seminal document behind Bitcoin has been lurking in an innocuous file on Apple computers for years. And it's going to tell you here how to find it. And it was found actually by a person in 2020, and nobody really made much noise about it. And then once again, April 5th of 2023, someone discovered it while they were working on something on their computer, and they found the Bitcoin white paper. So if you go to Terminal, which is a command that you can use on Apple computers to be able to find different documents and files on your Apple computer and put in certain codes to be able to do certain things within the Apple computer. If you put in and copy and paste, you could just do that here, and that's what I did, and put that command into Terminal, it will actually provide the Bitcoin white paper. Alternatively, you can use Finder and navigate this way and find what is called simpledoc.pdf. So it's quite interesting. Now people are speculating, well, what does that mean? What is Tim Cook's role? Did he know, or was it some rogue, Apple developer that just hid it there? Because there's also apparently other Easter eggs that also are found within Apple's operating system as well. So this isn't the only Easter egg that you can find within the Apple platform and the Apple, should say, ecosystem. So it's very interesting that Bitcoin obviously is definitely becoming more and more prominent and more well known, particularly now that we're starting to see more news about the traditional banking system having some issues, and you're finding some cracks in that system. People are now looking for other ways to store value. And a lot of folks say, since we're now in a technological world, we're moving with the future, that having something that is technologically advanced like Bitcoin, which is a electronic peer-to-peer cash system. So now we're going to go to the Bitcoin white paper. And as you can see here, I was able to find it using my Apple computer and putting in the prompt in the terminal section of the Apple computer. And I have the simpledoc.pdf, but you can also easily find the Bitcoin white paper just by Googling it on the internet. So here we are at Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, published by Satoshi Nakamoto, and this was published in 2008. So we're going to go through just a few important points or parts that you may want to check out as you read through the white paper. It is pretty technical, but it's pretty short. So there are some portions of it that you may want to read and just get a general understanding as to why Bitcoin came into existence in the first place. So we'll go through the abstract quickly and a couple of the more important parts that you may want to hone in on. And we definitely think it's a pretty good read. Not too long, a little technical, but you can get a better understanding as to why Bitcoin is gaining ground as we start to see the cracks in the traditional finance system. So we'll go through the abstract here. A purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash would allow online payments to be sent directly from one party to another without going through a financial institution. Digital signatures provide part of the solution, but the main benefits are lost if a trusted third party is still required to prevent double spending. That has been an issue way back in time because the accounting has to be accounted for on each side of the transaction. So that's another reason why you see when you're trying to do a transaction between you and someone else from one financial institution to another, it generally can take a couple of days because they're trying to prevent double spending. But there have been times and instances where that has happened in the past. So Bitcoin is trying to prevent any issues with double spending at all. So it says here that we propose a solution to the double spending problem using a peer-to-peer network. The network timestamps transactions by hashing them into an ongoing chain of hash-based proof of work, forming a record that cannot be changed without redoing the proof of work. The longest chain not only serves as proof of the sequence of events witnessed, but proof that it came from the largest pool of CPU power. As long as a majority of the CPU power is controlled by nodes that are not cooperating to attack the network, they'll generate the longest chain and outpace attackers. The network itself requires minimal structure, messages are broadcast on a best effort basis, and nodes can leave and rejoin the network at will, accepting the longest proof of work chain as proof of what happened while they were gone. So here you have the introduction, and one point that we highlighted is what is needed is an electronic payment system based on cryptographic proof instead of trust, allowing any two willing parties to transact directly with each other without the need for a trusted third party. Transactions that are computationally impractical to reverse would protect sellers from fraud, and routine escrow mechanisms could easily be implemented to protect buyers. So everything is broadcast and can be seen through this network. And now that we have so many nodes as a part of the Bitcoin network all around the world in several cities and countries around the world, that it's at this point virtually impossible. You would have to get a majority of those nodes to all work together to attack the Bitcoin network. And at this point, it would be extremely difficult to do so. So you see here, it starts with the introduction. It goes into how they define the transactions, timestamp server, proof of work and what that is, the network, understanding and defining the network, the incentive, reclaiming disk space with regards to the hash, simplifying payment verifications, being able to verify the transactions on the blockchain, combining and splitting value, and privacy, which we think is important to understand. The necessity to announce all transactions publicly precludes this method, but privacy can still be maintained by breaking the flow of information in another place by keeping public keys anonymous. So the traditional banking model achieves a level of privacy by limiting access to information. So a lot of times banks, we don't see what's going on behind the scenes when when we're trying to send money from one person to another. We don't see those transactions. It's going on the back end at the different financial institutions that are coordinating with one another. But you don't necessarily have to announce those transactions publicly, but you can still have information available for all to see and it still be anonymous. And you're able to achieve this with Bitcoin and the Bitcoin blockchain. So it goes into calculations and then it finishes off and goes into the conclusion. And one part that I highlighted here is that we started with the usual framework of coins made from digital signatures, which provides strong control of ownership but is incomplete without a way to prevent double spending. So, to solve the double spending problem, we propose a peer to peer network using proof of work to record a record of public history of transactions that quickly becomes computationally impractical for an attacker to change if honest nodes control a majority of CPU power. So, I found here at this particular article, it talks about how many nodes are out there currently and who houses the largest network currently. It's Frankfurt, Germany. US is the country that has the most nodes at nearly 10,000. It's probably above 10,000 now. This article was in January of 2023. So you can see the list of the top 10 countries with the most number of Bitcoin nodes, and the total number of Bitcoin nodes as we see currently is over 43,000. So there would have to be nearly 22,000 plus nodes that would have to coordinate together to attack the Bitcoin network. And because it's so spread out amongst various computers and telephones and all different types of nodes across the world, it basically is almost impossible for the Bitcoin network to be intact. Now, it's not 100% impossible, it's still yet to be seen, but so far in the years of existence of Bitcoin, and it's now been in existence for almost 15 years at this point, Bitcoin has not been attacked yet. So that's why a lot of people, a lot of institutions are looking to get into Bitcoin. We just saw that Fidelity, which is one of the largest asset managers in the world that holds and manages trillions of dollars, they have now opened up the opportunity for institutional investors as well as their retail clients to buy and purchase Bitcoin and Ethereum, and they will custody those cryptocurrencies for them. So this is just the beginning. So it's very, you know, important for us to learn what our options are and understand how we can continue to preserve our capital, because that's the most important, not only risk management, but preserving capital. We obviously want to make it as well, but once we make it, how do we reserve it? How do we, do use the tools that we have available to us to make sure that we use as much risk management as possible? And Bitcoin is an option that is definitely out there that people are looking into. So we'll keep you posted as usual. We hope you enjoyed this video as we, took a little bit of a different twist and went a little bit more in depth with regards to the largest cryptocurrencies in the world with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Thank you so much for watching. In the meantime, take care, and we look forward to catching up with you on the network chain. Bye-bye.